I'm Tina Grear, and I'm the Chief Operating Officer of International Health Partners, IHP. My role is really broad, so we only have 14 members of staff, we're quite small, so I have to cover a lot of different areas, from governance and fundraising and HR to oversight of the finance, and some areas of business development as well, which is where the M&E falls. We don't have a specific M&E person on our staff, so that's an area we're trying to develop, and I've been part of that. The toolkit is really helpful for a small organisation like IHP, so I've been really pleased to be part of the committee, and I've learned a lot from others. So I'm not an expert at all in M&E, and so it's been a real privilege to sit with people who are and learn from them, and to have some input into how the toolkit can be useful for small organisations and large organisations. So my background has been in some areas of programme design in the UK and internationally. So I don't, as I say, I'm not an expert, but I do have had some experience of working on programme design and evaluation in the past. And recently done some reading and courses in areas like theory of change. So in my mind, I have little pockets of understanding, but I don't have a framework to put all those pockets of understanding together. And what's been so valuable about the toolkit is that it guides you from A to Z, as it were, to Z. We say Z, you say Z. And it's really helped me think through, for IHP, where do we want to go with our evaluation and how do you start? So I'm gradually, literally working my way through the toolkit. And that's been really valuable. So I think the advice I would give is definitely take your time. If you're relatively new to this area, these are complicated concepts and tools that take a while to get your head around. So give yourself time to do that. Secondly, I'd say it's best to approach the toolkit with another colleague so that you can work through it together as a minimum, and ideal, obviously, to involve a lot of other stakeholders in terms of then developing your evaluation framework and your M&E approach. The advice I keep being given is you've got to try, you've got to approach M&E and keep learning and keep changing your model as you learn. But it is really reassuring as you're going along in that process to look at various examples of what other people have done. So I think the case studies will be really helpful, and I'm looking forward to reading those, because as you're developing your logic model or your set of indicators, to see what someone else has been able to do and think, oh, I've missed something, or I've misunderstood that step, to see some best practice examples would be just reassuring and helpful as part of the toolkit guide. In terms of how PQMD could develop the toolkit, I think it would be very valuable in time to see varied options on it. So if you're a small NGO like IHP, where you are facilitating donations, you're in the middle of that process, you bridge the gap between the pharmaceutical companies and your in-country partners, then you have a particular approach to your evaluation, what you're measuring, your processes, as much as the end impact. Whereas for some of the companies and for some of the in-country partners, their priority is going to be different. So a sense of the differing priorities for those using the toolkit, that could be a helpful way to develop it in the future.
At PQMD, we wanted to thank IHP as well as all the members of our K&I committee who are constantly thinking about how the toolkit can be more relevant and useful in really elevating or boosting the capacity for monitoring, evaluation, and learning. Where can product donations make the best and the most impactful programs?